up, Conference USA fans? Welcome into another episode of CUSA Insider, the official podcast of Conference USA. I'm your host, Sarah Rudolph, and we have a fun show in store for you today. But before we get to that, I'm going to remember to actually get this housekeeping stuff out of the way first, because I've been forgetting the last couple of episodes because I've been off. Jess Radford, Eric Jones, Josh Jonas, they've all been taking hosting duties from me. And thankfully, they haven't been taking them from me. I've been generously giving them out because they know the sports better than I do. But we're going to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way here. We want to tell you where you can watch and listen to the podcast. So if you're an audio-only listener, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. But if you're watching the show right now, then you have found us on our YouTube page, and we thank you so much for watching. Just don't forget to subscribe wherever you are listening so that you never miss a new episode. All right. As I mentioned just a second ago, some other people have been taking some hosting duties here on CUSA Insider, and I have one of them with me today, Jess Radford. She's back. She's joining us here on the show, and we are excited to talk about a lot of stuff that's going on this spring. We are full force into softball and baseball season, but you actually have a championship coming up next week too, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Oh my gosh, yes. We love crossover season. There's so many sports going on at once. It's a lot of information to take in, a lot of information to remember. But crossover season is always fun because you just have so much going on at once and just makes the days go by so much faster.
You are so optimistic. I love crossover season. Crossover season is hard, y'all. It can be a little bit crazy around here,
especially
with
traveling.
Yes, all the travel, all the championship events we have going on. We had a meeting as an external department earlier today, and Jessica was like, I'm not going to be in the office for the next 2 weeks because I'm traveling all over the place. So it's crazy around here, but it's a good time. It's a fun time. Well, let's talk a little bit about softball and baseball. Obviously, we're well into conference play in both of those sports right now. Josh and Eric not here today to talk about it, so we're going to do our best to kind of go over a couple of things high level, but you look at the standings right now, Liberty's still in the lead, but they did drop a game to Middle Tennessee last week. So their first conference loss of the season, they're still sitting up at the top spot, 13-1 in CUSA play. And they have a big matchup this weekend against New Mexico State in Las Cruces, which we've talked about it many times on this show when it comes to softball and baseball, but the air in Las Cruces, there's something different about it. It's a little thinner.
Makes that ball just go.
That's right. Some balls go out of the park super easy. And so I'm interested to see, because both of these teams have incredible offenses. And I think that you're going to see some high scores this weekend. And we'll see what Liberty can do if they can bounce back. Obviously, they still took the series against Middle Tennessee, but they did drop one on Friday night. And it was 8-2. So it wasn't even close, that one. But they came back, storming back, and they were able to get the last two to capture the series win. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But then sitting right behind them is Louisiana Tech, who has been doing really well as of late. And they are taking on, so they're the two seed. They're the second team right now in conference standings. And they're taking on FIU at FIU this weekend. And I think that is going to be a really interesting game. Louisiana Tech sitting at 10-5. FIU sitting right behind them at 9-6 in conference. So I think that this is going to be a huge series to watch this weekend.
I think so too, especially because we've been on this podcast talking about FIU and how good of a season that they're having. Me, softball, I keep up just a little bit, not one of my sports anymore, but Louisiana Tech, I haven't heard so much more of them as a team, but that's probably just because them as a team is playing so good collectively. You don't really have any like standout stars like you may have at Liberty or even New Mexico State right now. But I think that's such a good game, and FIU has so much to play for this season.
They do.
And that being a home game for them or home series will definitely can benefit them.
Yeah, and I don't have the stat right in front of me, but I hopefully our guy Josh Jonas can correct me later. But I know that FIU is really good at home this year. And so the fact that this series is at home could definitely be an advantage to them. And like you said, they're playing for a lot. But Louisiana Tech is always in the top half of the standings in Conference USA. It has been like that for the last several years. And so if I had to pick one series to watch this weekend, it would probably be that one. And I think, let me double check. Yep. All of those games are on ESPN Plus. So we've said it once, we've said it a million times. If you're a Conference USA fan, get yourself an ESPN Plus subscription, because it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of content on there that you guys are going to want to watch. So let's flip things over to baseball. Obviously, Eric not here for us to talk about it this week either, but huge series happened this past weekend. WKU at DBU, and the Hilltoppers showed out. I mean, like, if you had any doubt about that team going into this weekend, those things, like, it was done. I know they beat DBU 11-0 on Saturday.
And knocked them straight out of that top 25 ranking.
Knocked them out of the top, knocked them out of the top 25. WKU now actually receiving votes in D1 baseball poll, and they were ranked by Baseball America and Perfect Game at 25. So keep watching the Hilltoppers this season. They are definitely doing some really great stuff on the ball field, and that is going to actually be leads me right into my next thing about the series to watch this upcoming weekend. So WKU is sitting there right there at 6-3 in conference, and they take on Liberty this weekend, who is 5-4 in conference at Liberty, which is where we will be hosting our conference championship here in a couple of months or weeks at this point. Oh gosh. So that's going to be my series to watch this upcoming weekend. I think that it'll show a lot about that team. It'll show a lot about Liberty's team as well. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of interesting things happening in conference play for baseball right now. We talked about it when we were talking about men's basketball, how tight things were and how you weren't sure who was going to finish at the top of the standings at the end of the season. At this point right now, baseball is the exact same way. We have 4 teams at 5-4 right now.
And Eric, I think it's Eric, because he said this in our meeting earlier, that it's just the same thing as men's basketball. Everybody's just beating up on everybody. Yep. And that leads me to say that I'm very interested in this DBU at Jack State series this weekend.
That's
especially
great.
With them being tied up at 5-4.
Yep.
Jack State doing very, very well right now. DBU is they've been losing some games that they probably think that they should have won. Yeah. So now they need their, confidence builder back to get this series, especially with them being tied in conference play. So that's a good one. And DBU is on the road, so
I know that's another really good series to watch. We have some good ones this weekend. All those games also on ESPN Plus if you want to watch them. But yeah, this is going to be poor Eric trying to figure out all these standings. Hopefully somebody kind of breaks off and the cream of the crop rises to the top. I did not mean to make that rhyme, but hopefully that happens for sweet Eric at some point this season to make conference standings a little bit easier on him come the end of the season. But we have some really good baseball teams in this conference, and it makes it really difficult when we're all playing each other and we're all beating up on each other, like you said. So tune in to ESPN Plus this weekend to watch all of our softball and baseball matchups. They should be a lot of fun. But like you said, there's a lot of things going on right now. Women's golf championship starts next week. Men's and women's tennis championships are next week as well. And then also, which I cannot leave this podcast without saying something about it, we have a bowling national championship that 3 Conference USA teams are playing for this upcoming weekend. So I am very excited to be traveling to Las Vegas.
I'm jealous.
Viva Las Vegas, baby. I've never been. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be watching a lot of bowling while I'm there. But our number 1 overall seed in the country is Jacksonville State. They're going to take on Wichita State, which is our Conference USA champions in bowling this year. They're the number 4 seed. That happens at 9 a.m. on Friday. And then number 2 overall seed, Nebraska, the only team not in Conference USA that is in the national championship finals, will be taking on Conference USA team Youngstown State. They're the number 3 overall national seed. And that is also on Friday morning. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, it's hard to watch this knowing that a Conference USA team is absolutely going to lose. There's no way that we can come out of the weekend without that happening. But there's also a really big chance that we could win another national title. Jacksonville State won one in their first season as a program last year. Wichita State, it's actually their first season playing in the NCAA. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. It's going to be some really good, exciting matches. You can watch them on Bowl TV. I heard that it's like $16 or something like that, a match. But then when you get to Saturday, the final, the championship, that is actually on ESPNU, live on ESPNU. It's 6 p.m. Las Vegas time, which makes it like 8 p.m. Central time, I think, 9 p.m. Eastern time, all on ESPNU. But you should check it out. If you've never watched collegiate bowling before, it's exciting. It is really fun to watch. So that's my plug for bowling.
Wait, I have to ask you a question. I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, dear.
Because I'm only saying this because this round, Jacksonville State versus Wichita State, this is a rematch of our conference tournament.
It is, yes.
And it's very, like you said, ours is a fully formatted for bowling. This is shortened, just NCAA timing-wise.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Oh, gosh.
Because it came down to the wire.
It
the
did.
Very last thing.
Yeah, so if you're not a bowling person, what I'm about to say is going to sound like a bunch of gibberish. But in college conference bowling, we play what's called a mega match format. So they're, without getting too much into it, the two teams play two matches, two different formats. If one team wins one match and one team wins the other, they're tied 1-1. And it goes into a third format, which is called Baker Best of 7. So Jacksonville State and Wichita State played all the way through. They were 1-1. Then they played Baker Best of 7. They went all the way through all 7 matches. And so that mega match format is super fun to watch. But you're right. So for the first couple of rounds in this NCAA bowling national final, they actually will play the full mega match. But when you get to championship Saturday, that final match, it's only Baker Best of 7. So you have 7 games to win it all. And so it is much more condensed, and it makes it really, really exciting. And yeah, it is a rematch. And this is hard. So Jacksonville State and Wichita State both just won their regionals in order to get here. Man,
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Somebody's going to be mad at me here, but like, if you look at what's going on right now, the Shockers are just doing some incredible things in their first season. They're winning. But Jacksonville State absolutely blew through everybody at their regional. So as the sport administrator for this sport, I'm not going to give you an answer, but I'll let you figure out your own answer based on what I said. So.
I like that little mystery. Okay.
Yes.
I can't guess. So I don't know.
Maybe she'll learn a little bit about bowling this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll watch all the games.
But I mentioned women's golf starts next week. We actually have a women's golfer who's joining us here in just a little bit for an interview with Jessica, Emma Bunch from New Mexico State. But tell me a little bit about the championship. Where are we going? When is it? What can we expect coming out of next week?
We're going to good old Florida. I'm actually so excited because we have FIU in our conference, but I haven't been to Miami yet. But maybe one day. You gotta get those. Call me. Yeah, okay. Gotta get those championship bids. But we're going to the Royal Village in St. Augustine, Florida. So it'll be really, really fun. Monday through Wednesday is our tournament. 3 rounds, 18 holes. So it's right now, I feel like we have such a good group at Conference USA for women's golf. New Mexico State's doing good. Sam Houston, WKU. We just have some really big contenders. And as far as like just golfers that stick out, you have Katie Craig from WKU, you have Emma Bunch, who you just said is joining us later, but from New Mexico State, they just are so good. And I don't know who could be the CUSA individual winner. I can't wait. I love golf. Golf is such a good championship. You just talk to the players, and I think we talk about this on the conference side, how you don't really interact with student athletes like that. It's not very forward facing. I feel like golf is one of those like weird ones where you can talk to them because we have to do the scoring. So you have conversation with them, and about time day 3 comes around, they're like, "Hi, Jessica," and I like love that. And then the volunteers are also so nice. They're just members at the country club, so they're always there, happy to help, bright and early. So excited.
And it doesn't hurt that you're going to be outside for 3 straight days in the Florida sunshine. So
it is supposed to be sunny.
Perfect.
It's not going to be rainy. It's like 80 degrees.
Nice.
It's like perfect. So I'm excited.
And then the final round of the championship is actually going to be live streamed this year. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it's on ESPN Plus.
That's an upgrade this year, y'all.
And that's why you guys need an ESPN Plus subscription.
Obviously. Yes.
Because everything is on ESPN Plus.
It's going to be, I'm excited to see it. This is the first year that we have live streamed golf. We're live streaming women's golf this week. We're live streaming the final round of men's golf in 2 weeks, I guess it is. See, they all just jumbled together. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be really interesting to be able to actually watch it. Obviously, the Masters are this week. Go ahead and watch the Masters. Get yourself prepped and ready for the CUSA Women's Golf Championship next week. But like you said, talking to Emma Bunch from New Mexico State here in just a second, who is our reigning CUSA individual champion. She won the tournament on the individual side last year. Their team is doing some really awesome stuff. And I'm excited for you guys to get to watch that interview here in just a second.
Today on the CUSA Insider Podcast, we are joined by New Mexico State junior Emma Bunch, who has been having an impressive season on the Aggies women's golf team. Emma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, you just finished tied for 11th at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. It was the best finish among first-time competitors in this year's event. How do you feel about your performance overall?
I think going into it, I was just trying to make the cut. So being tied for 11th is like beyond anything I could have imagined. I didn't play as well as I wanted the final round, but still, like tied for 11th is amazing.
It's amazing for sure. And how did this event help you or how do you think it will help you prepare like mentally and physically for next week's conference championship?
No, definitely. Katie Craig was there too from the conference, and it was fun competing against her, and then like 70 other of the best players in the world. So I think just knowing that I can compete with some of the best players in the world will help me tremendously next week as well.
You were the individual medalist at last year's conference championship. You were also tabbed as golfer of the year. You were also tabbed as most improved. And just how has those achievements influenced your game in your junior year?
I think it's helped me like just be more confident. Just I I know that I can compete with people in the conference and people over the country and the world. So I think just like having those titles, like it's not like it makes a huge difference, but it's definitely nice.
Obviously, golf isn't 100% individual. You guys have to play as a team, especially to get that team win to just be high in the rankings. So, what is just your mindset as a team this year to just get those team wins?
No, team wins are so special, and we haven't had one this year. We had one last year, which was so fun. So we're definitely coming into conference with a lot of confidence, and just we really want to win, especially so we can go to regionals.
So, coming from Denmark and then now you're living and you're competing at New Mexico State, what's the transition been like just on and off the course?
So I'm like pretty adaptable. Like I get along with people and stuff. So like the transition, it wasn't too long for me. It's definitely different. I had to get used to small talking a lot. We don't do that at all back home. So just people at the supermarket, like talking to you while you're in line, that kind of stuff. I think that like was what I had to see the most. And then just not seeing the rain for like 6 months, that's very different too. But I love it here. So it's been really fun.
What do you miss most about home and what have you grown to love about life at New Mexico State?
I definitely miss my family, and I miss a good rainy day when you're just grinding by yourself on the course. Like the weather's always amazing here. It's only the windy days, which is I would rather play in the wind, like in the rain, than the wind, just because that's what I grew up with. So I'm definitely missing my family and maybe a little bit of rain and just seeing like a little bit more green. But I definitely love the nature here and just the people, like the community in Las Cruces is just incredible.
Oh my gosh, I love how you said that you love the rain because if you ask somebody in the United States, it's the complete opposite. Like, I myself hate the rain. Okay, so on the CUSA Insider podcast, we have just a couple of fun questions that we do like to ask. If I was to visit Las Cruces at New Mexico State, where is one restaurant at USA that I would have to try?
Andale Stockhouse. It's got such a fun little vibe out on like a little patio. You get great Mexican food. So that would be the main place.
Okay, what's your order?
I usually get the quesadilla with pork, but the green chili chicken enchiladas are so good. They're just so spicy. So I can only have them once in a while.
Oh, okay, I'll have to try those. What's
Yeah,
one thing that you
definitely.
always do before a big tournament to get in the zone?
Interesting. I don't really have like I know a lot of people have like rituals and stuff that they have to do. I'm like not very like I don't have stuff like that, but definitely just like stretching out because I have like I just with playing too much golf. My upper back is always tight, so I always make sure to stretch out before a tournament just to make sure I can breathe properly.
Yeah, you got to use the heat warmer too. Warm up. If you could play a round of golf with any golfer, past or present, who would it be and why?
I think Nelly Korda, like she's just changed the game for women's golf. Like she's so incredible. So I think it would just be awesome to just play with her and just see her routine and just learn from her.
Okay, great answer. And last question. I know you just said you don't really do rituals, so I'm interested to hear what this answer is. But what song or playlist do you listen to when you're trying to get locked in?
It's changed a little bit. Now it's like 50% country, and then I'll throw in some like old school Taylor Swift music. That used to be like my ultimate hype before a round or a tournament.
Okay, you can never go wrong with Taylor Swift.
You really
Well, Well, thank you, Emma. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining us and taking some time out your busy day. Good luck this week if you do have a tournament. Good luck next week. And I'll see you next week because I'll be in Florida. So I can't wait for that.
Amazing. Awesome.
Huge thank yous again to Emma Bunch from New Mexico State and Jess Radford from our team for that awesome interview that you just watched. Once again, you can actually watch the CUSA Women's Golf Championship on the final day of competition on April 16th, live streamed on ESPN Plus. So be sure to tune into that. A couple of things before I let you guys go. Be sure to follow us on social media at CUSA Insider Pod on X and Instagram. If you're audio only listener, please make sure you are subscribed to the podcast wherever you are listening, whether that be Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And if you found us on YouTube, thank you so much for watching the show. Make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a new episode. If you have any comments, recommendations, concerns, just want to say hi, you can email us at cusainsider@conferenceusa.com. All right, everyone. Once again, we're playing for a bowling national championship this weekend. 3 out of 4 teams have made it to the Final Four for women's bowling. So we have a 3 out of 4 chance on winning a national championship. So be sure you tune in to the national championship final Saturday night. It's 8 p.m. Central Time. I don't know all the other time zones, but it's 8 p.m. Central Time on ESPNU. All right, everyone, that is it from us today. You are listening to CUSA Insider, the official podcast of Conference USA. I'm Sarah Rudolph, signing off.